I mean, for us, we're constantly trying to, I mean, I'm doing it right now, constantly, even though you said you're not smart. You are smart. You're very smart. Is that you want to surround yourself by people that are smarter than you, and especially in the areas that you're not as smart. Like, and that's the definition of a good leader to me. You know?
And that's exactly how we get people to start having goals and setting goals. Their environment.
About to say the same thing.
Share a little bit more, because it's their environment that's causing the lack of purpose, that's causing the lack of discipline, and essentially just an awful life. So yeah, share more about that.
When you think about who you surround yourself with, I always say you can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you. Mm-hmm. So I can't change what you think. I can't change what I want you to do, but my gosh, I could change the people around me that will now help me think bigger, help me be more devoted, help me find my purpose and what ultimately I was put on this earth for. I always say we're born twice. Once when we're actually born, and the second when we figure out why. And that, I think, is just so exciting when we are able to truly there's truly a switch that flips. I know it probably happened for you, and it's not just once in your lifetime. It iterates.
Yeah.
It's an iterative pattern. There's certain experiences that you've been through, Manning. There's certain experiences that you've been through, Ben. There's certain experiences that I've been through, Justin, that because I went through them, because I experienced them, because I had people around me speaking life into me, telling me that I could do something, telling me that I was intelligent, I had a call, I was worth something, that all of a sudden I was like, man, maybe I can do that. Mm-hmm. Maybe I can dream. Maybe I can create vision. Maybe I can take a step in faith. Maybe I can do something that is uncommon and help me think bigger than I did before. Man, I go back, I had the worst scarcity mindset ever. I grew up in a family where there was always budgets around. My dad came from a family that was war torn from Germany, that it was like penny counting and food stamps. And this is just what I grew up in. And so this scarcity mindset just crippled me in a lot of ways for a lot of my life, that I never thought there was going to be enough. If I didn't say yes to this opportunity, no opportunity would ever find me again. And it was that's all I ever saw. But as I was able to get around people who saw things differently, thought bigger, dreamed bigger, saw zero bars on anything, saw no ceilings, and I saw what was possible, and then I allowed myself to be mentored by them, taught by them, coached by them, spoken life over me, my gosh, the doors, the walls, the ceilings blew off that house. And it's the people you have around you, the people you choose to mentor you, the people you choose to have in your environment that will truly either create your walls, create your house, or ultimately renovate that thing so there are none.
So good. Can you resonate with that? Do you feel like that's part of your journey as well?
Yeah, I mean, is it Tony Robbins that said the 5 people?
It was Jim Rohn.
Jim Rohn, that's right. I knew it was one of those guys.
Yeah.
Well,
he mentored Tony Robbins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he probably said the same thing from that. But I mean, it's not like that's a mystery, right? Yeah. I mean, to me, if you're around toxic people, you become toxic. If you're around people that inspire you and that help you grow and speak life into you, then you're gonna, elevate. For me, what I've tried to do, and it kind of goes back to like what you said, is that I think sometimes for me, and again, this is just me, is that I sometimes isolate and try to do everything on my own, even from a personal growth standpoint. Like, I'm gonna get alone with God, and I'm just gonna, it's just gonna be me and Him, and I'm gonna figure this out. And I think recently I've done a little bit better of getting around like-minded men and having the deeper conversations and even just allowing them to speak life into me, instead of like kind of isolating. So that would be kind of where I am today as I get older, is like, like VUCON just happened. And I mean, what you think it won't, like, I've been in the church since I was, came out of the womb, and like sometimes you're like, it's my, I've been to these things, it's not gonna be that, but wow, like, like getting around that many people, and just the love and the true, like, I felt, I mean, obviously I believe it was the Holy Spirit, but like the love in that room was unmatched. And it was and actually the section that I was in, it was mostly men. Like it was a large group of men, and very successful men.
But even what I was going to say was you were talking about how you've been in this position where you've now started to seek men instead of going inside on your own.
Yeah.
And there's a piece about you. There's a piece about you that is different. There's a piece about you that is growing. And I think that comes back to it, because I truly believe that the enemy's main goal for us is to, number one, distract us from what God's called us to, so that, number two, he can disconnect us from the people he's put in our life, disconnect us from him, but also disconnect us from our own bodies and disconnect us from ourselves. Because
I agree with
at that point, he can divide you against what you're trying to go for versus what's coming after you. Then it's going to discourage you, because, man, why is this happening? I'm failing all the time. I'm falling apart. I'm not doing the things that are necessary, which then you disqualify yourself. And then at that point, he can destroy the call in which you were moving forward for. And by doing that, it all gets washed away simply by eliminating the distraction and connecting with those that are around you that were meant to be in your life.
And I think we go further with, like, especially the more I do these podcasts and I just sit with great people, just good people that are doing stuff in their life. And it's that alone has just been such an impact on my life. It's just, you hear, like, I've had some Navy SEALs on that when you have a Navy SEAL on that, and actually this last guy, he was freaking French Brigade. What was it? French Brigade? What's the French Foreign Legion? Like,
wow.
You talk about, like, bro, his story is Trevor Kavanaugh, but when his Taylor Kavanaugh, right? Yeah, Taylor Kavanaugh. He you literally, how it works is you go and knock on the door, and then they open the door, you hand them your passport, and you don't get it back and they give you a new name. So you become a nobody. They give you a new name, and then you go through this, hell of training camp. And 2 years later, you get your passport back and get to use your name again. Like, it's a total transformation of everything. And he wasn't a runner, and they have to run 5 miles every single day in all their gear, and stuff like that. But anyways, I say that to say, like, when you sit with people and you hear their stories, and his story had a past, and, drug addiction and in prison and all this stuff, and you just sit with it, and there's just so much gratitude, and then learnings, and then and like-mindedness, and then it also kind of fuels you. You're like, okay, I'm on the right path. Because they're complimentary. I used to hate compliments. Like, I still don't exactly love them. But now it's like, it's more, I tend to hear them as affirmations instead of compliments. Instead of, like, you're so great. I hear it as, no, you're doing great. You're supposed to be doing this. So compliments has turned into affirmations for me, which in the past, it kind of, like, I don't know, I just didn't respond very well to it.
When you think about past versions, and this just came up for me because we all have pasts, we all have stories. Is there people in your lives that see you still as who you used to be and can't see you as the new you?
I mean, too many, actually. And the frustrating part about that is it's really sad, because, I call it the fixed mindset. And that's why I love the mindset book. So Carol Dweck's mindset book is because there's so much truth to it, in a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. And I just believe that people that see you the same way is because they have a fixed mindset. They're stuck. They haven't grown. They don't understand it. They don't understand that you're different. They don't understand that you've changed. And then the whole notion of that people don't change. People don't change. Like, I am 1,000% against that. I do not believe that for 1 second, because you wouldn't be sitting here. Talk about change, right? You wouldn't be sitting here, and quite frankly, I wouldn't be sitting here if I wasn't becoming a new version of myself every single day. I mean, I don't want to know the man I was yesterday. I mean, that's how I take it. Like, I don't want to be the version of who I was yesterday. I want to continue to, today, I know for a fact after this podcast, I'm going to have so much like just growth because of sitting with you guys, and that's going to create something inside of me that I'll apply to my life tomorrow. And then that's going to put these building blocks on my life to become a new version of myself, whatever that looks like. And then I think too, like, because life happens, like if you're not constantly trying to better yourself and trying to figure it out in a positive way, then you might actually go even backwards. Like, you know, like you might reach a point where you're your best self, but then if you're not continuing on that, you might actually revert, you know, and go back to something that you know you used to be. So and to go back to your thing, I mean, yes, I unfortunately have to let people go when it comes to that. I have people that I've tried to reintroduce into my life, whether it was high school friends or college friends or old colleagues or things like that. But as soon as they start speaking to me of the man I used to be and not who I am and who I'm becoming, I actually don't even want you speaking to who I am. Like, I speak to people's potential, and that's gotten me in trouble sometimes because like I'll hire the wrong people because I see their potential. But I truly don't feel like I speak to people who they are. I speak to what I think they can become. And that's how I kind of want to be seen too. And I frame it too as like, let's give each other a little grace too. It's like, I feel like we don't do that enough. It's like, you know, like we're all going through so much shit. Like everybody, you know, if you're a dad, if you have family, you have a wife, you have a business, if you have health problems, if you have this, you have that, like, could we, when we start a conversation, like if I meet you for the very first time, which I, like, we shouldn't be judging each other off of this one moment. You know, we should give each other a little bit of grace of, well, maybe he said that because of the mood he's in. Maybe he did that because something happened or whatever. And I think we're so easily like triggered to be like, oh, that guy's an asshole, or that person sucks, or, you know, and stuff like that, when, you know, you might have met him at a wrong time. And I think that's why people talk about each other. But again, I'm rambling, but, yeah, man, I have to get rid of people in my life that don't speak to who I am and who I'm becoming. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't like that, but I can't deal with people like that. I can't, like, you know.
Yeah, I could relate to that. You know, the change piece that you mentioned. I remember Bob Proctor said, change is inevitable, but personal growth is a choice. We're always changing. Are we actually progressing? Are we regressing? Nothing in this world stays the same. Either you're creating or disintegrating. And the change thing is also interesting because a lot of people, I hear them say, people resist change. People resist change. And I don't believe that to be true. I think they resist being changed, but when they're inspired, they're open to changing. But when we're forcing it on them, then they resist it.
Yep.
The piece that you asked about, like, are there people in your life that still see the old version of you? For sure. And I think one of the best things you can do if you're just starting out on this journey and recreating yourself and creating this new vision of yourself is to like move to a different city, like get out of that environment completely, because you could go into a new city and be a brand new person without anybody pulling you back to your old ways. Now, that's not an option for some people, or it's not the best option, so they stay in their town. But you have to surround yourself with people that see that greatness in you, like you mentioned, Justin. Yeah. That is the key. Like, your story is very similar to mine. I had people in my life that saw greatness in me when I didn't see it in myself. And the cool thing about having people like that in your life is that you don't even have to believe that it's true.
You borrow it.
You borrow their belief until you develop it yourself. So for years,
I've actually never heard it said like that. That's really cool.
It's the truth.
It's so good.
You borrow their belief until you have that belief. Right?
I need my employees to hear that. All right.
So,
because I believe so much in my 22-year-old trainer that I just hired, because you know, like, you know, if you have a star or not, but it's like, if y'all could only know how much I believe in you, but I'm going to start telling
they
you.
They got to borrow your belief until
they
have it for themselves. Yeah. It is the truth. You know, and I say that because somebody's watching and listening right now, and they're like, they don't see that greatness in themselves. Like, there's no way, because for 25 years, 30 years, maybe they're 50 years old, they just haven't made these changes. They've tried, they've given up. But I'm telling you, when you find that person who believes in you, and it could be a book to start out with, but when you find that person who believes in you and sees greatness in you, you start to borrow their belief. And then you start to get momentum, you start to get results, and then you start to believe for yourself. And then there's a new level, right? And every new level brings a new devil, right? And the thing is, with the devil conversation, the devil wants us to drift. The devil wants us to be going through the motions. They want us to be distracted on social media, to be numb by food and drugs and addictions. And when we are aware of what's happening in our environment, we start to make a conscious decision to change because people believe in us. Everything changes in our direction, in the favor we want to go. So, man, I think it's a big part of our growth is to surround yourself with people who believe in you. And if you have people in your life who are bringing you back to the old version, they got to do what you did, Manning, and cut them out. And I know you've done it as well. Yeah, you got to cut them out because they're the crabs in the bucket. When crabs try to leave a bucket, the other crabs drag them back down. We have people like that in our lives, and we have to identify them, and we have to remove them from our lives.
And it reminded me of a thing I used to tell my staff, and I haven't said it in a while, but you might not believe in God, but God believes in you. So it's like, talk about the one that definitely has the most belief in us is our God. So it's like, if you don't have anybody, then at least you can lean on that and dive into that and know that, I mean, the person that actually created you believes in you. And it's given, and I love what you say, has given you all the tools.
Everything.
Like, and then what you say has given you the nutrition in the body to heal itself. Like, that's like such a cool thing now that I just kind of put all that together. But like, that's such a cool way to frame it, is that we really don't need anyone to believe in us. Like, if you really think about it.
It's this,
like,
I have this recurring vision, and it's really what fuels me to continue to grow, to continue to keep looking forward at this, because I have this vision where I get to heaven and God comes up to me and he goes, "Justin, great job, like amazing work, but I want you to meet somebody." And out from behind him, it makes me emotional, and out from behind him comes the version of me that he actually created, the version of me that I could have been if I had stewarded my body well, if I had stewarded my gifting well, if I had decided to humble myself and walk in the footsteps in which he had created, that I didn't believe, or I was so stubborn, or I wanted to do it my way and I was disconnected. And that every day leaves me in that place of growth and humility and knowing that, man, I'm not going to be perfect. I'm not going to get it all right. But I've got the grace, as you mentioned, to be able to step in and say, as long as I'm on the purpose for growth, as long as I'm on the purpose to get better, I'm going to step into the footsteps and I'm going to step into the person that he's created me to be, because his path is always better than mine.
Amen, brother.
I love that. I think I heard Jocko talking about a version of that too. What would y'all say, like, because I mean, we're, again, it goes back to like, there's so many people that need this, right? That need, whether it be inspiration or guidance or discipline, whatever the heck we want to call it. Like, what are y'all's kind of first steps for someone in need? Like, let's say, again, someone DMs you, hey, I'm 300 pounds. I'm lost. I'm that. Like, what's the first thing you tell them?
I always tell them to go study Bob Proctor. I send them to Bob Proctor's work. I tell them to download his Audible, his YouTube videos. Now, if I gave them an actual specific step outside of that, I would tell them to sit down, eliminate distractions, turn off your TV, get everybody out of the room, sit down in a quiet place, and dream of the life you want to live, and allow your mind to just dream. Like, there's going to be things that come in that say, you're not smart enough, you don't have the money. Just don't worry about how to do it. Just think about what you want in your life, the dream life. And whatever comes to you, start writing it down. So it could be like being, the greatest gym owner in the world with franchises, 50,000 franchises. Whatever it is, right? It could be the greatest soccer mom, whatever it is. But you write down that dream life. And then once you have that written down, then you grab an index card. And on that index card, you write down in the present tense, "I'm so happy and grateful now that," and you write that dream in the present tense. And every single morning and every single night before bed, you read that. And you do that enough times until it replaces the old self-image in your subconscious mind with this new vision, and God starts to work in mysterious ways, and all these opportunities start to arise. And it sounds so simple to some people, right? And so like woo-woo and trite. But I always tell people, like, if your way is not working, why don't you try mine? Give it 30 days. Simply just write down that vision. That's how I created a New York Times bestseller book. I wrote it down and I read it every day. Yes, I worked my ass off. There's a law of attraction and a law of action, but it starts with writing down the vision, writing down something that you just desire and want in your life in present tense and reading it every single day. That's what I would tell the person.
That's awesome.
The big thing that I do when that happens, because it probably happens to us all, and the first thing that I do is I speak life over them, and I tell them that you were designed to heal, you were designed to thrive, but we're going to have to do something different. And a lot of people think that it's oftentimes a behavior change issue. Mm-hmm. It's not a behavior change issue. It's an identity issue. It's who do they see themselves as? They only see themselves as a sick person. They only see themselves as the overweight person. They only see themselves as the failure. They only see themselves as that. And so speaking life over them is the first thing I always start with no, you were designed to heal. You were designed to thrive. You were designed for abundance. You were designed for greatness. You were designed to be exactly what you want to be. And then there's three things. Number one, we have to change their belief. What belief do you have about yourself? So that once we change the belief that you have about yourself, we can ultimately change the intentions that you have every single day. You don't base your confidence on your outcomes. You base your confidence on the intentions, because you're never going to have perfect outcomes. But I can tell you, you can always have great intentions. And then number three is you change your association. We talked about it already. The people you associate yourself with. Do they continue to speak life into your new belief and who you're going to become? Or do they continue to pull you back down? And ultimately, you create a flywheel of changing that identity so fast, so quick, so often. And when that identity shifts, watch the behaviors follow, because who you see yourself as, you will never out-behave the version of you that you see.
100%, bro. So good.
Really good. And double down onto the association thing. Like, I've had some really tough conversations with people about, bro, you're going to have to cut your mom off. Sir, I'm sorry, but you got to break up with your girlfriend. Like, just like sometimes it's going to be cutting people in your life that you like think that that's impossible. And I'll never forget this one guy that I was helping. He hit me up and I told him he had to change his number. I said, you're never going to get where you are unless because he was, again, there's context here. He was telling me that, his sister-in-law, his brother, like everybody
blown up,
and he was one of those that he was the savior of the family, like helped everyone else except for himself. And I'll never forget, he texted me from a new number and said, I did it, and then about a month later, literally 30 days later, his life was totally different, like totally different. And that was literally just from changing his association, changing his number. So I think it's important that people hear you. What you mean by that is that it doesn't mean like the ones that you feel like doing. Like, it means what it exactly means. Like, absolutely do inventory and see who's talking, like you said, who's talking life and who's not. For me, which I now I'm gonna steal y'all's stuff. I love yours too, by the way, because I used to tell people to write it on the mirror. So they would, that's the first thing we look at, so I used to tell them, get a Sharpie and write it on the mirror. But then for me, it's walking. And I just really, I used to say water and walking, but I'm not going to shamelessly plug the water right now. No days off cream water.
But if you do,
but if you do, drink no days
make
off,
sure it's no days off water.
Because I don't want people to be like, oh, he's just plugging his water. But I really believe in the power of walking, and especially outside.
Yeah.
I just think there's something about walking with intention, like paying attention to, and this is no music.
Yes.
Being still in your own thoughts. And I think that's where they would get the things that you're asking them to write down, or the awareness of the people that they associate with. Like, this is when, if you can go on these walks, and then also too, the gratitude. Like, there's something about walking and looking at the trees and the birds and hearing, a kid laugh at the park, that like, you're alive. Like, you get to do this thing called life. Like, you're not miserable. You're not something that doesn't exist. Like you exist, and like if you can do that in that way and frame it, again, not like, talking negative on the walk and all that, but like just kind of go blank for a second, see what's around you, pay attention to what this creation that God has done, but then also start listening to what the mind is going to start, because it's inevitable. Like when you go for long walks, all of a sudden, like, and you're sitting in your own thoughts, it's incredible what happens. Like almost some of my best ideas have come from long walks. Like, and actually, I recently hurt my shoulder, so I've been doing a lot of long walks, and I always laugh at myself because I'm like, I'm going on my nature walk today, and I love what you said too, because it's like we do kind of make fun of the things that work.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
isn't that weird? Like
it's easy.
It's like, oh, you're gonna write on an index card, cute, but it's like, no, yes, I am, but it works. And I don't understand why we do that, though.
And the people that are going to continue to make fun of that are the people who have never done it.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's why I said, if your way's not working, why don't you try mine? Same, why don't you try yours?
Just try.
It's like, just give it 30 days.
Exactly.
Like it's because it's easy to do, right on an index card, go for a walk. Easy not to do as well. It sound like it's not a supplement. It's not sexy. It's like you're walking outside or writing on an index card. It's just
none of that is sexy.
Yeah, it's not sexy, but it works. And the thing you said about walking out in nature, I love it. And I know you have a dog. You have a dog as well?
Unfortunately, not right now. I mean, y'all know I'm a huge dog person.
I see it in the logo there.
Yeah. But Legacy was my most recent dog that passed away. And he was 14. And I have 2 young kids, so it's been a season of let me get through not get through the young kids, but let them get a little bit older before I introduce a dog to the family again. And then, to be honest, like Legacy was like everything to me. Like I won't even be able to talk about. Like he was my shadow. He was my, like, everybody. I mean, you could tell it. I mean, he did not leave my side. Like, I mean, that dog was, and he was just an amazing dog. And everybody says that, but I mean, I'm talking, and I had Dozier, Rascal, Killian, Artemis, Monita, and then Legacy, and Legacy just, like when you get well, I don't know if y'all know this, but like when you get a new dog, you're always saying, well, nothing's going to replace that dog. And so I would always say that. And then when I got Legacy, I was like, oh yeah, he did it, so, and I loved all my dogs, but Legacy was special. It was very special. Yeah.
Sorry, bro.
No, it's all good.
I understand.
It's been years since he's passed. But
dogs are, the reason why I brought up the dogs, dogs are like the perfect example of unconditional love. And it's interesting because God backwards is dog, right? And they show you what it means to like be present. Like when you're walking your dog, when I'm walking my dog, I might be thinking about, I don't know, a problem in my business or something I want to create and whatever. I'm not present sometimes. And my dog is just looking at the trees, looking at the squirrel, he's completely present, right? And if we could learn from that and just love without any conditions, it's so special to see that. Dogs, you walk into the house after you come home, they don't care how much money you earned today or how great your workout was or how shitty your day was or how you smell or how you look. They wag their tail. They're happy to see you. They're in the present moment. They could teach us a lot about life. And you always talk about being safe and how it's so important for the nervous system to feel safe. Walking is the best way to do that. When you walk in nature and when you hear the birds chirp, that signals to your nervous system the environment is safe. Birds would not be out there chirping if there's danger coming. So at a subconscious level, it's actually signaling to your nervous system, you're safe. So it's one of the best things you can do for the HRV. It's the best thing you can do for creative ideas. I'm a fan of it as well. I walk my dog twice a day, or I just go for a walk with my fiance. No phone, no Audible, no podcast. It's just me and nature. Yeah. So I love that you brought that up.
The reason why I was laughing because this morning I was training Josh Sweat, and we were talking about dogs, and we said exactly what you led into about the unconditional love.
Yeah.
We were like, there's nothing like it. And it doesn't matter if you're gone for 15 minutes or 3 days. Yeah. They act exactly the same when you come back in the house, like, like you've been gone forever. I mean, I used to, like when I would leave with Legacy, if I forgot something, and I'd come right back in, it was like I was gone for 3 days. And I would just laugh. I'm like, bro, I just saw you, relax. Yeah.
So good.
You have dogs, right?
Yeah, I've always been a dog lover, and I mean, it's amazing. Like, even going back to what you said, is one of my favorite things is going on a walk at night, and my wife and I, we do it after we eat, and we go for a mile walk, and it's just, again, it brings you back to that state of presence. And I think what's so cool is, I always bring it back to some type of scriptural stuff, but I also don't think it's by accident that Jesus' ministry was all done on foot, that he had to walk miles, 10 miles a day on average. And I also don't think it's by accident that when you look in the Gospels, that the way in which God told Noah that it was safe was he sent a bird. And so you start to think about the safety that we have, the ability to be able to truly go inwards and have the nervous system recognize the language of nature. You feel different when your feet are in the sand. You feel different when you're in the woods. You feel different when you're in the mountains. You feel different in these areas. Why? Because your nervous system feels safe. And it's that point that you can start to heal, that point that you can start to create change, that point that you can start to reconnect so that you can get back to the status of which God created you.
That's so true. And like, I love when I go to the beach and do the same thing, with no phone, and just like truly be present at the beach. You talk about, like, it's the best daggum antidepressant in the world. The sun, the salt, the sand,
and they
the
shut
ocean.
it all down during COVID. The most important place you need to be during COVID, and they shut it down.
We'll be here for another hour.
Especially in California. Like,
yeah, I know. Yeah, thankfully we're in Florida.
Arresting surfers.
Yeah,
like,
it's
really?
ridiculous.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, the jellyfish are going to have COVID? Like, it's just, don't go down the COVID train.